Hello, everyone. Can you let me know if you can hear me, see me? To check that the tech is working. Maybe not. Hi, Garfield. Can you hear me okay? Hi, John. Hi, Boyan. Hi, Joseph. Can someone just let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay? That's great. That's great. Thanks for joining for the very first ever live stream. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I'll be much more confident after doing this one because you know, you never know about the tech and all that. Thanks very much, everyone that's saying they can hear me okay. Right, who haven't I said hello to? George, Bob. Hi, Bob. Hi, Jimmy Nickel likes a pickle. Thank you. Reactive Armour. Jason, all the way from Sydney. Lovely to have you on. Oh, you're starting work soon. Okay. So, hi, Phil. Hi, Graham. Lovely to see you all. Right. So, let's see what we can. What we're gonna. Dustino, Beto Dustino's here. Hi, Robert. From Illinois, USA. That's great. Hi, Matthew. Great to have you on. Oh, Peter Cozy, he's here. That's great. Now, what was I going to say? Let's go from the start. Jimmy Nickel likes a pickle. He's good evening from Liverpool International Beatles Week. Are you from Liverpool, Jimmy, or you visiting for for Beatles Week? And if so, how's it going? Cosy, as in swimming. Peter Cosy. MBT is on. Nice to see you live on air. Jim is from the South Coast. So how is International Beatles Week? Bit overpriced, but nice lot of tribute bands. Okay. Foxa Cha-Cha. Great name. Hiya he's from Arizona. From Arizona, USA. Hi, David. Doc Docus is here. Doc Docus is in the house for the first ever live stream. David says, I only want Beatles Rubber Soul Super Deluxe set only. Well, we're still waiting. But it's coming. Dr. Ockers is watching this momentous occasion with buddies. Which buddies have you got with you? Are we talking YouTube buddies? Graham says, I know why they have Beatles Week in Liverpool. Why don't they have one in London? Well, they used to. They used to have one in London. It used to be, well, it wasn't a Beatles Week. It was a Beatles Day, and they used to have 3 or 4 of them a year, and I used to go to them. And it wasn't really a convention like it is in Liverpool. They didn't have bands or speakers or people like that. It was really just a flea market. So I used to go to them quite a lot and spend lots of money, but I haven't been. Oh, I don't think they do them anymore. Somewhere near Holborn it used to be. Southampton Row in London it used to be. Boyan says, really enjoyed the updated McCartney archive collection pricing video. Thanks very much. Glad you enjoyed it, Boyan. Tony Dickens says, love your channel from Greensboro. That's North Carolina, right? Thanks very much, Tony. Jeff's watching the show. Hi, Jeff. Oh, no, another Aussie. Hi, Matt. Hi, Matt. Hi, Beatley, Tone, and everyone late to the show. You're not late. You're not late. We've only been on a couple of minutes, and we've said absolutely nothing of any importance whatsoever. My mate, Beatle Dustino. Hi, Dustin. How you doing, mate? Dustin's from North Dakota. Got a great channel. Subscribe to Beatle Dustino's channel. Great guy. I want to hear the announcement on the red and the blue, but also want that Rubber Soul Super Deluxe. Yeah, we all do. We all do. We all do. It's coming. It's coming. It's just not coming just yet. Hey, John, I think the Red and Blue album will be out for the Christmas market. It's starting to look that way a bit, John, isn't it? It's looking like that. I don't think we're going to get that September release, September release that we were expecting, because Ringo's already gone out, and so has George with their announcements, and Ringo's not officially coming out to October. So you would have thought that Red and Blue is going to be later than that, as they haven't announced yet. So we're still waiting for that. It's Graham saying Juno Records are releasing 4 Ringo albums on coloured vinyl, old wave, etc. So Juno Records. So we've already had old wave, haven't we, on that sort of brown coloured vinyl. That was a record store day. Was it last year, back end of last year? And then we had Stop and Smell the Roses this year for Record Store Day on that sort of pinky white splattered vinyl. What else? What are the other 2 albums, Graham? Cranberry Sauce says, always enjoy your videos. Thanks very much. I went to Liverpool in 1976, and at that time there was not much to commemorate the Beatles. I'm glad that's changed. Yeah, that's true. We were there in March this year, and I did a video of it. And there's tons and tons of Beatles stuff to do, even when it's not Beatles Week. It was just a normal week in March. We went and we did, quite a lot of the tours. We saw bands in the Cavern and the pubs sort of all down Matthew Street. There's lots and lots going on, lots and lots to see. So they are totally geared up for the Beatles visitors now. I can't imagine how chaotic it is this week in Liverpool, but probably crazy. Tony, yep, North Carolina. Thanks for confirming. Hi, Matt. I thought we'd already said hi. Hi, Matt. how am I going to pronounce that? Foxo Cha-Cha. I wait with monotonous languor for the Super Deluxe Magical Mystery Tour. Yeah, how did they miss that out? How did they miss that out? It could have been fantastic. I don't know how they missed that out. It's just like, they just went from Pepper to the White Album. I'm guessing that they wanted to hit the White Album anniversary date, and obviously that was a big box set, so a lot of work went into that. So I'm guessing sort of it probably took them pretty much that whole year in between, from releasing Pepper to doing the White Album. They just completely forgot about the White Album, completely forgot about Yellow Submarine, and we need those songs remixed. Matt says, love the channel. Thanks very much, Matt. Really appreciate that comment. Cranberry Sauce is in Northern Virginia. We've got lots and lots of Americans on today, and a couple of Aussies as well as a little bonus. I know this time is not ideal for people in Europe or the UK, but I will do one in a couple of weeks or something, and it will be an earlier time, so it will suit the people in the UK. Show us your t-shirt. It's the Wings, the Wings Over Europe t-shirt from 1972, which I think you can buy it still on Paul's website, but it's ridiculously expensive. It was about 60 quid. You might be able to get it cheaper elsewhere, but yeah, nice t-shirt, and it's got that kind of proper 70s look where most of it fades in the wash to give it that authentic 70s look as well. David said Amazon is selling the White Album box set for $800. $800? Surely not. That's crazy stuff. That's crazy stuff. We've had that one. Jimmy says, why have you done this so late in the day for your American audience? Not necessarily for the American audience, but just had things on to do today. So I didn't want to sort of encroach on, Mrs. Beatley Tone's time. So I've done this one late, knowing that there would be, it would suit the American audience, but not suit us here in the UK so much. As I said, Jimmy, we'll do one in a couple of weeks, much earlier, maybe sort of 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, which would be much better for for you in the UK. You got stuff planned to talk about, or just go with the flow? I wanted to talk a little bit about Ringo's EP and what you guys think about the George Harrison announcement of the releases, but nothing is off the table, so you can talk about anything you like. Just put whatever you want to talk about in the comments, and we'll give it a go. Hi, Renee. You think we're finally going to get an official announcement for the next Beatles release since Ringo announced his EP, Paul announced his new tour, and George's re-releases? Well, yes, it's going to come at some point. We just don't know why it was late. We were expecting it a couple of weeks ago. Sort of rumours that it was delayed because Taylor Swift was making an announcement, but it comes to something when when the Beatles are a little bit scared of Taylor Swift and having the shine taken off by Taylor Swift. I mean, she is huge, of course, but so are the Beatles. So I was surprised that was the reason, if that was the reason. But they're going to announce it soon. We just don't know when, and when it does, I'll be all over it. But nothing at the moment. And they've said it will be out for this year. It's been suggested that it will be for the Christmas market, and that could be the case. So if it's going to hit for the Christmas market, it probably wants to be out sometime in November, which means they need to announce sometime in September, which is only next week. September begins. So, you know, I don't think it's that far away, but we've been teased and taunted by it. And, you know, hopefully it will actually happen soon. Jamie Pinner. Hi, Jamie. Hey, Tone. Tuning in from Weymouth in Dorset. Thank you for staying up late. Lovely part of the country. Great channel. I'm hearing rumours about a new Paul album next year. Thoughts? Thanks very much. I'm glad you enjoy my channel. You know, I haven't actually heard anything specific about Paul, but you know, sometimes he does things all the time that we don't know about until we know about it. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't, you know, things that have taken us by surprise. You know, McCartney 3 took us by surprise. The 80 singles box, that took us by surprise. We weren't expecting that. So, you know, there's you know, even his new book, The Eye of the Storm, that kind of took us by surprise. We didn't know that was coming. So, you know, you know, there's every chance that Paul has been, you know, buried away in the studio recording some new tracks. So maybe we will get a new album from Paul next year. You know, it's been 3 years since McCartney 3, and you know, why not? You know, he does seem to have a lot on his plate, and there always seems to be stuff that's distracting him from getting on with the projects that he's already got going, like the archive collection. There seems to be things that break that up. You know, the Got Back tour did that, and now he's, you know, he's touring Australia, he's touring Brazil, he's going to Mexico as well. So, you know, he's got lots of things on his plate, but who knows? We'll know when we know. But, you know, let's hope that he's got one or two more studio albums left in him. Let's hope so. Bob, sorry, Tone. My missus keeps bending my ear to say hi. Can you give Erin a shout out? Hi, Erin. I'm sorry that my videos have caused Bob to spend loads of money. That's not my intention. He's done that himself, so don't blame me for that. But hi, Erin. Nice to speak to you. Dustin Dickens, we've got both North states here from North Dakota. Is that it? Yeah. Mr. Beatles pros on yellow vinyl on those two. Which two are we talking about? MBT's loving the BBC sign. Yes, my wife picked that up at an antique shop or something like that. It's a real BBC live on air thing, and it lights up as well. Look. David says, I love your videos along with Parlogram. Well, my videos not quite up to his standards, obviously, but he's been doing it a long time. But thank you very much, David. I'm glad you enjoy the content on my channel. I still feel the channel's been going for 2 years. It still feels like I'm kind of, you know, I'm still feeling my way. This is the first live stream I've done, and I was really nervous about doing it. You know, I've been on plenty of other people's live streams, but this is the first time I've done one of my own. But Andrew at Parlogram is an absolute pro. I don't always agree with what he says, but his videos are excellent. I don't always agree with his, you know, when he's talking about this album. This is the best version sounding album of, you know, of this album or that one. Sometimes, you know, we've all got different ears, we've all got different hi-fis. It's a really difficult one to say this is, you know, this is the best the best version. What's Matt saying? Matt's saying would be nice if they dropped an EP vinyl box to match the singles box dropped a few years back. Yeah, it would. And you know, if they are going to, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able to buy the Now and Then track as a standalone item. I don't, you know, the rumours are it's going to be included on the Blue album, and probably Real Love and Free as a Bird are going to be included as well, because that carries on the theme of the Red and the Blue album. The Red and the Blue album, the premise of those two albums is that it's all the singles and key album tracks. Well, all three of those are going to be singles, so they should all be on the new revamped Blue album. And if they do an EP box, they could maybe add an extra EP with all three tracks on it. That would be really great. I need Driving Rain on vinyl, but are we ever going to get? But we never going to get reissued, don't we? Well, it doesn't seem so at the moment. Driving Rain, very expensive to buy on vinyl at the moment. You're paying probably about 200 quid. I get an email from sort of a record trader in Ireland, EIL.com, and they send me an email. Well, it feels like they send me one every single day, but it's probably about one or two a week. You know, you can get copies of Driving Rain on there, but they're asking £195 for it. I mean, it is a double album. It's hard to get on vinyl for sure. And you know, I'm just wondering whether he's ever going to go back to, you know, I was talking about how Paul never knows how to finish a project, and one of the projects that he hasn't finished yet is the coloured vinyl project that sort of started in 2017. Then there was a second instalment in 2019 where we had quite a few, maybe about 10 or 11 albums out on coloured vinyl, but there's still plenty to go in that series. And I'm wondering whether there might, if he ever gets back to finishing that project, or MPL ever get back to finishing that project, because I'm not sure whether he's got anything to do with it or not, whether Driving Rain will be part of that, because there's lots of people, I'm sure, now that people have gone back to vinyl, would love to get those difficult to get albums on vinyl. I'm talking about the albums that are pretty centric to the CD era, where not much was released on vinyl, like Driving Rain, and Memory Almost Full is also another one that's difficult to get. So hopefully one day, maybe. Peter Cozzi, pronounced right. Okay for me in UK, managed to sneak in Match of the Day too. I had to forego Match of the Day too to get myself like psyched up for this, but I did watch Match of the Day last night, and I was very happy to see West Ham beating Brighton, our bogey team, the first time we've beaten them. So I was very pleased for that. But it was the Liverpool Newcastle game today. Liverpool won that 2-1 with 10 men. Graham says, I'm after Paul's Flaming Pie Archive Ultra Deluxe box set at a reasonable price. That's the great big thing that is probably about 500 quid. You know, from what I understand, there was loads of those that were unsold, because I didn't go for that one. I went for the one down from that, because it had, you know, for me, it's more about getting all the music, and the one down had all the music. But from what I understand, there was loads of those unsold. So why is Paul not knocking them out dead cheap now? It's, you know, it's 3 years since it came out, and I'm sure people would jump. You know, if it was 300 quid, I think people would probably jump at that. Joseph says, well, now that you're retired, you don't have to get up on Monday morning. No, I don't. But I have been trying to make myself get up at a normal time on a Monday. But here in the UK, it is a bank holiday weekend, so there's no work tomorrow anyway. So everyone will be having a lay-in the UK anyway. Tony wants the Back to the Egg as a box set. You know, we all do. I mean, this will be a fantastic box set. I have done a video on what would be in that box set. It would, you know, if it was to come out, and there is a wealth of material that they can put in that box set. You know, there's loads of outtakes. There's loads of there's quite a few unreleased songs that they worked on. You know, there's things like, you know, Daytime, Nighttime Suffering, which I'm not sure if that's been out on CD yet, but I'm not sure if it has. Or maybe it was on Pure McCartney. I can't remember. But there's loads of stuff they could put. They could put the entire Glasgow gig from the 1979 UK tour. We could have video of the entire concert for Kampuchea gig, which I was actually at. Because we know that was filmed, because it, you know, they showed highlights from it on TV here in the UK about 3 years after the event, but they showed it. So Back to the Egg will be a fantastic box if it ever comes. We understand that the remastering for this and London Town took place in 2019, because we in that video that I made, there was I captured a quote from an interview where Paul said, you know, was talking about going into Abbey Road and re-listening to Back to the Egg and London Town, and saying he hadn't heard it like forever, and he rediscovered the song Arrow Through Me, and said, you know, that's a funky track, a really good track with a great horn riff. So the remastering for that, as far as we know, has already been done. So it's only collecting together all the bits and pieces to make up that box set that we're waiting for. So, you know, what are they waiting for? The trouble is that they're waiting. They you know, it's so long since the last one. You know, we're just wondering whether this archive collection is still an ongoing thing or whether it's dead in the water. What do you guys think? It would be a real shame for him not to finish it, because he's only about 4 or 5 studio albums short of finishing it, and I think we would be happy. Well, I would be happy with London Town, Back to the Egg, Press to Play, and Off the Ground. I'm not that bothered about Broad Street. I'm not that bothered about the live albums. You know, Trippy and the Live, fantastic, and Unplugged, although there is, you know, quite a few extras that could be on the Unplugged album. But, you know, I would settle for those 4 just to know that project is still alive. Dave Bay says, and 40 years ago, I got into Abbey Road Studio No. 2, sat on Ringo's drum kit, and I'm the proud owner of a 1963 Hofner autographed by JP McCartney. The bass? You got an autographed bass? Yeah, fantastic. That's fantastic. You sat on Ringo's drum kit. Brilliant stuff. I remember vaguely when they did that Abbey Road tour, sort of early 80s. I didn't go. A mistake. Jimmy says Monday is a bank holiday. Yeah, in the UK it is. Pablo Diaz, why the red and the blue are not past masters? It makes more sense to release the new single with Free as a Bird and Real Love on past masters than the red and blue. Well, yeah. Well, the thing is that, you know, past masters is the A sides and the B sides. Now, all the A sides of the singles are already on the red and blue. So if they're going to remix those tracks, then we'll have those. So that kind of takes out the need for a past masters as it is at the moment. Now, if you saw my video on what I would like to be on the red and the blue, because as you probably know, it's supposed to be expanded to 3 discs. So the red will be 3 discs, the blue will be 3 discs, and I came up with this track listing for the 3rd disc that would cover all the B sides, the Long Tall Sally EP, and the tracks from Magical Mystery Tour and Yellow Submarine that are not on the normal red and blue track listing, and obviously have not had a remix because they missed out the Magical Mystery Tour and Yellow Submarine box set. So that was my idea for a third disc. I've got absolutely no hope whatsoever of that being the next disc, the third disc. I don't think, because it doesn't really fall in with that premise of the red and blue that I was talking about, of being the singles and the key album tracks, because the B-sides in most cases are not key album tracks, so because they're standalone. So that is what I would be hoping for the third disc on the blue album, but I really don't think that they're going to go for it. But if I was working for Apple, that would be what I would say, and stick that on disc 3. Matthew says to Tony, so do I. I think that's about the back. That's about the Back to the Egg box set. Andy Nichols from the Two Legs podcast is in the house. Hi, Andy. The Two Legs podcast, fantastic show this week, and I really enjoyed that interview with Peter Doggett. If you're not familiar with the Two Legs podcast, please go over there and subscribe to the channel. It's a fantastic podcast. They drop a video every week, and sometimes in between if something particular is happening. Tom and Andy are lovely guys, and a brilliant show. And Andy is probably the most knowledgeable Beatles fan that I know. What's he saying? Hey, Tone, get up to Liverpool. Get up to Liverpool this weekend. No, I'm not going this time. I was only up there in March. We've had other things on this weekend, so I'm giving it a miss this year. Maybe next year, we'll see. But great to see you, Andy. Graham says, I'm after... Oh, we've had that one already. David Chambers says, hello, Tone. Eastender here in Oz. Lovely job. Thank you very much. My cheeky 2pence. Apple should do a green 70 to 74 with the red and blue re-releases, one side each, 4 sides times 10 tracks. So we're saying a side for each solo Beatle from 1970 to 1974, and we're calling it the Green Album. Yeah, I mean that would be good. I mean, obviously they have all had compilations out. I think that there would be, I'm not sure, but I think there would probably be some sort of legal difficulties about the four camps, the four labels, coming together for that. I mean, maybe they can do it because they were under Apple at that particular time. I don't know. I don't really know what the legal implications of that would be, but yeah, they could do it, and probably a lot of people. It would give a lot of people that are who will be getting introduced to the Beatles through this new release of the red and blue. It would also give them a little gateway into the Beatles' early solo works as well. That solo work that is just so underappreciated, in my opinion. So yeah, good shout, David. Tony says, I'm wondering why George didn't want Now and Then release. Well, we heard that he said it's rubbish, but they're different people saying different things. We don't know. We don't know for a fact he thought the song was rubbish. I think that what people are alluding to now is that, he thought that it was what the work that they had done on it was not great because they couldn't get rid of that buzz, on that electrical buzz that was on the original cassette. And maybe that's what he was talking about when he said it was rubbish. So, we'll never know. We'll never know what he meant by that. But we can assume that, because this is coming out, George is on it. Olivia would have had to approve it. So, we have to believe that, Olivia is approving of it on George's behalf, I think. Sean Anthony Egan says, hello, Beatley Tone. Nice to see you live on air. Thanks very much. Lovely to have you here as well. Good vibes. Amazon UK is selling Let It Be Super Deluxe edition for £43. That's a bargain for anyone who hasn't got the big CD box for the Let It Be album. Good shout. Good for letting everyone know. Thanks, Sean. Storytime says, wishful thinking, but wouldn't it be wonderful if there was a Ringo anniversary box set? Well, you know, the talk is that there is going to be one. There is going to be one. You know, the anniversary is in November. It's rumored that it will be, you know, that there is going to be a box set. If there is ever going to be a Ringo box set, it's only ever going to be for that album, I would think, because Ringo himself is not really interested in box sets and unreleased stuff and all that sort of stuff. But you know, we've been told, we've been told. We haven't been told. We've just made it up ourselves. We've convinced ourselves that there is going to be a Ringo anniversary box set, and it would be lovely to celebrate that album. It is far and away his best album, and it would be great because, you know, it's kind of historic because, you know, because John, Paul and George are all on it. It'd be lovely to hear some outtakes from that, you know, some sessions with some studio chat and all that sort of caper that we love. So let's hope that there is, you know, a Ringo 50th anniversary box on the way in November. Good shout, good shout. Music Sound says, hoping for a deluxe MGM release of the Beatles with Tony Sheridan. No, you're not. You've just made that up. You've just made that up. I meant to say David Chambers, East Ender in Australia. Whereabouts was you from, David? Stick it down in the comments. Whereabouts in the East End were you from? Matthew says, I'm hoping George's re-releases are released on coloured vinyl. Well, yeah, I mean, there's no talk of that at the moment. That would be enough to to entice me in if they were on coloured vinyl. You know, I said on my video about it, you know, I've got a couple of the 2017 remasters, Living in the Material World Live in Japan and Brainwash. The rest of George's albums that are coming out in this batch of releases, I've still got my original vinyl. Of course, I've got all the CDs as well. So, you know, I'm not that excited about this announcement. You know, the only reason I would buy these is to give my my battered versions of these albums a refresh. But you know, if they were to all come out on coloured vinyl, I'm in for sure. Because he says, think this might be a shift in future releases to always hit the Christmas market in future. Maybe, but you know that there is so much. There's so much still to come. They can't release everything at Christmas, so you know things spread over the year is the ideal way to go. We don't want everything at Christmas. I remember the when in 2018 where we had the most fantastic month for the fantastic 5.25 for releases, but it was the worst thing possible for our wallets. We were all suffering from open wallet surgery, where we got the Imagine Ultimate Mixes box set in October 2018, then the White Album box set, which was another massive box set in November 2018, and then in December 2018 we got I got the Big Barn box, but it was also the Wildlife and Red Rose Speedway archive collections were also released individually. So but that was a horrendous quarter for our wallets, but fantastic to get so much brilliant stuff, and really brilliant stuff. I mean, there's not a bad thing to say about any of those three releases. Absolutely fantastic quarter release wise, but very, very expensive. So, you know, I'm sure there will be something for the Christmas market most years, but I'd like to see things, you know, released more evenly over the year to keep us interested and keep us stop saying, when are we getting this, when are we getting that, when are we getting the other? Just tell us, give us lots of great information about these releases. Julia Hartley Barnes is in the house. Tone, Julia, lovely to see you. Thanks for joining. Joseph says, Tone, do you think we'll see Band on the Run Half Speed Master this year or next year? Absolutely. If there is one nailed on release that will be coming out, it will be the Half Speed Master of Band on the Run. Whether they will put it at the end, you know, it was released in December, so you know they've pretty much stuck to the anniversaries, but not exactly. You know, they did the Red Rose Speedway for Record Store Day. It wasn't quite on the anniversary date, so it could come in December, but that will probably depend on what else is happening in December. They may decide to hold that over until next year, early next year, because Paul hasn't got a 1974 album, so there's no 50th anniversary. There'll be no half speed master to come out next year, so they may just hang Band on the Run over until January or February 2024 to sort of fill that gap of a half speed master for next year. We'll have to wait and see. Tony says, I have the Star Club on vinyl, so do I. I think it's overdue for a release. I love Red Hot on that. You know, the Star Club, you know, I bought it when it came out. You know, there was great big dispute about, you know, the Beatles hated it coming out, you know, because they didn't get any money for it, I don't think, at the time. But, you know, it is such poor quality. It's such poor quality. It's, you know, I tried it a few weeks ago because people were talking about this, you know, we want the Star Club, we want the Star Club, we want Peter Jackson. I love the way that we have now commandeered Peter Jackson. He now works for us, you know, remixing or you know, doing the Mal, you know, software on all these Beatles releases. He now works for us. His film career is over. He is now totally dedicated to working for the Beatles. I wouldn't want, you know, I don't really need the Star Club to come out unless they're going to do something with, you know, the sound quality. For me, it's unlistenable. It's, you know, that it's great to be able to hear the Beatles playing as a live band in that, you know, that very early, you know, the early period in December, I think it's December 1962. It's from. So great to be able to hear that. But I don't go to that album. I reckon I could count. I bought it in 1977 when it came out. I can count on one hand how many times I've actually played it, because it's just such a difficult listen. But if they were to, you know, try and clean it up, I don't know how easy it is to clean up, because it's not like, you know, it hasn't been recorded properly. It's not like cleaning up, you know, Please Please Me, where it's actually, you know, been recorded properly. Yeah, there's plenty of bouncing down on the 2 tracks that were used that they can demix and then remix. But can they do that when it's just been recorded on a, you know, it's just an audience recording on a reel to reel tape recorder? I mean, if he can do something with that, it'll be like a miracle. It'll be a miracle. Ethel the Frog. You did stay up. Ethel the Frog. Hi, Andrew. Lovely to see you here. Yes, well, you know what? You say that you're my second subscriber, but actually you were my first subscriber, because obviously the first thing I did when I started up my channel was to subscribe to my own channel. So yeah, I think you were probably my first subscriber. So I'm ever grateful for that. Do the new George Harrison releases spell the the end of future George's box sets? Well, no, not necessarily. I do think that I do think that they should have gone in a bit more ambitious than they have done on this. That to me, this is a lazy batch of releases. It's easy, especially as they're probably going to be the 27 remasters. They're just going to be repackaged. Maybe the Apple ones are going to have a Dark Horse label on them, and that's it. They're going to be the same. So that to me is really a lazy release. But I think there's a reason for that. I would have liked to have come out and done as the opening thing, as a statement of intent. Give us a box set for Living in the Material World in its 50th year with all the stuff, just like they did for All Things Must Pass. Give it a remix. Give us a nice book. Give us a couple of discs full of sessions or demos or whatever. Job done. That would have been fantastic. I think they've missed a trick by not doing that for the 50th anniversary. I think it's a lazy, batch of releases, but I'm inclined to give them the benefit of the doubt and hope that they do better with the next batch of releases and give us a box set. So, you could never say never, but, I think they've definitely missed a trick by not doing it for Living in the Material World. So does it spell the end for future box sets? Maybe not, but let's hope not anyway. But let's see what happens. When he said it, we're going to open the archives. To me, that says that they're going to give us all that unreleased stuff that we know that they've got. So hopefully they will do that. Thanks for being here, Andrew. I know it's really late. Storytime says, do you fear the end of solo box sets if none are released this year? No, I don't. Well, I mean, it's difficult to say, but I'm just maybe I'm unjustifiably optimistic about these box sets because we do love them, and they've got a captured market for sure. You can just see in the comments here, people want to buy these things, and I don't, just because we don't get anything this year doesn't mean that it's the end of the line for them. Let's hope not anyway. That's what I want to think. So Sergeant Pepper took you by surprise. It did. Jimmy's hanging it out here. Yeah, I know you're waiting for Invisible Ray to come back, but that's why you're here. But you're more than welcome here, Jimmy. This collaboration between the Beatles and the Stones seems to have gone quiet. Well, I heard that it could be on this album that they're just announcing, the Stones album. I don't think it's the Beatles and the Stones. I think it was first rumored that there was a track that Ringo played on it. I don't think that was true, but apparently there was a track that Paul played bass on, and it could be on the new album. We'll just have to wait and see. What they called it? They called it Hackney Diamonds or something like that. The new Stones album. Harry's Music Room says, why would Paul and Ringo not do a tour together, the Paul and Ringo tour? Why would they not do it together? Well, I could see... I think I know why. Well, it's very difficult for Paul, who has had, he's had his band. He's been together with his touring band since Driving Rain, so 2001. So it's 22 years. It's more than he's played with those 4 other musicians more than he's played with any other musicians in his career, and he can't just dump he can't. I've got his name. He can't just dump Abe just to get you know, for Ringo to play. And I'm not even sure that Ringo would want to do that. You know, Ringo would have to learn all, you know, Paul's songs. You know, obviously he knows the Beatles ones, but he probably hasn't played even the Paul's Beatles songs. He probably hasn't played them for years. It's difficult. I don't think it's realistic. And when Ringo goes out on tour, why would he want Paul, you know, stealing his limelight? Abe Laboriel Jr. That's his name. That's easy for you to say, not so easy for me to say. Yeah, so why would Ringo want Paul stealing his thunder when Ringo goes out on tour? Not that he ever comes to the UK, but when he goes out on tour, you know, that's his big moment in the spotlight. So I don't think he wants to share that with Paul. So I think a Ringo and Paul tour is difficult. Of course, you know, them turning up at each other's shows and coming on to do the odd song or two is not out of the question. And I'm sure that would happen, you know, if they were both in the same place at the same time. So that's my thoughts on that. Harry's Music Room. Ralph's here. Hi, Ralph. Do you think we'll ever see another live Paul album, considering now with his older voice? Although Glastonbury would be a good choice, it would. I mean, Glastonbury, you know, I think that people outside the UK have not seen Glastonbury in its entirety or heard how good he was that night. And unless you happen to get a bootleg of it, and obviously that won't be in the best of quality. But and the rest of the world really deserves to have you know, that as a live. And if there was to be one more live album, then let it be that one, because that was a great way to sign on. He was, you know, his voice was in good shape. You know, I was worried so much about it because we, you know, here in the UK, we have Glastonbury on live on terrestrial TV. So, you know, the general public are seeing it now. We'd seen, you know, clips of the Got Back tour, and, you know, in the early gigs on that tour, Paul's voice was not in good shape. I felt that from the clips that I saw, you know, obviously I didn't go to any of the gigs, but I felt that his voice got better and better as the tour went on, you know, because it had been a long time since he'd played live with COVID and everything. It'd been at least 3 years or 2 years since he'd last played live. So it took him a while to get going. And I've always thought, whenever I go and see Paul live, I always think that it takes him about 4 or 5 songs to get his vocals going, you know, to a reasonable standard. We know it's not going to be like it was, you know, when he was in his 30s or even his 40s or even his 50s. But, you know, he was really good at Glastonbury, and I felt he got better as the Got Back tour went on. When he got to Glastonbury, he was on it, and you know it was such a I think he started with Can't Buy Me Love. I think that was the opening song on all the tour, and he started on that with it at Glastonbury, and that is a really hard song to open up with because the vocals come in on beat 1 of the song, so he doesn't, you know, he doesn't go round the chord pattern before the vocals come in. There's no musical intro. He's in on beat 1 and he's got to hit that note, and he did it. And right from that first song, I thought, oh, this is actually different. He's playing really well. He's singing really well, and he did a fantastic show, and the audience were with him from, you know, from the very first song throughout. And you know, it was a fantastic gig. It was great to see, you know, watching it on TV. It was great to see shots of, you know, young people like really digging it, knowing that they are watching a legend, and that was fantastic. So yeah, I'd love to see the Glastonbury gig come out on both video and on album, just so the rest of the world can see, you know, what we saw that night here in the UK. So yeah, good question, Ralph. Old Wave and Stop and Smell. We're talking about the coloured Ringo vinyl. I think Graham said there was 4 albums coming out on coloured vinyl, 4 Ringo albums. I don't know what the other 2 were. He didn't come back to me on that. Matt says, Matthew Shelburne, do you have tickets to see Macca in Melbourne? James, hi James. Hi Tony, congratulations on your first live stream. Thank you. Initial thoughts on Rewind Forward. For me, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's rather bland. More Ringo by numbers. Yes. I think the thing is with Ringo, the best thing is to not expect too much, and then you won't be disappointed. It, like you say, Ringo by numbers. There's a formula. There's a formula. His rhymes. His second rhyme. His second line rhymes with his first rhyme. His fourth line rhymes with his third rhyme. In his vocals, he mentions love and peace and harmony and something like that in his songs. It is a bit. I thought it was okay. But I don't really expect much from Ringo's EPs. I don't really, they don't really excite me like releases from the other 3 have done. I'm absolutely delighted that 83 Ringo is still putting out stuff, and people will enjoy it. It's just not. It's not something that really gets me excited. And Rewind Forward. I thought it was an okay song. But it's nothing to get too worked up about. I'm quite interested in hearing the Paul McCartney song that he's covered on this EP when it finally comes out in October. Oh, Julia's on it again. Tone, Julia, how are you enjoying the extra time in retirement? I am loving it. I'm loving it. It's really great. I'm really enjoying it, and I seem to be, just as busy as ever, but just with different things. And I like the fact that if I think that I'm going to do something today and I don't quite get round to it, I just think, I can do it tomorrow if I want. And so I'm loving it. I feel very chilled and very relaxed. I started work at 16, so I'm, I feel like I've kind of done my time. I think so. Very happy to be retired and thoroughly enjoying it. Thanks very much. Right. Who else we got? Mr. Beatles Pro. Oh, we've got that again. Tony Dickens, you need to do these more often when you can. Fun. Glad you're enjoying it, Tony. As I say, this is the first one. I was a bit concerned about the tech. I wasn't sure whether the tech was going to work and you would be able to hear me and see me, or whether I'd be able to do the highlighting of the comments thing. So I was a little bit nervous before I come on, but you've all been lovely, and it has been fun doing it. I think we're about an hour in already, so it's good. Oh, bloody hell, there's 82 people watching. Really? That's fantastic. I wasn't expecting that many, that's for sure. So that is really brilliant. Thanks very much. Ronnie Roberts, have you listened to Dolly Parton's Let It Be with Paul and Ringo on it? Yes, I have. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I quite like the little harmony that Paul is doing on that. But I don't get that excited about covers of Beatles songs. There are a few exceptions to that rule, but this isn't one of them. I think it's all right. I do like it. It's okay. But it wouldn't be enough for me to go out and buy her Rockstar album. Day Tripper says, hello, sir. Always enjoy your videos. Thank you so much. Thanks for being on the channel, and thanks for being on my very first live stream. Appreciate that comment. Thanks very much. Jimmy Nickel Likes a Pickle says, as a TV license payer, I have a share in that site. That one. I guess you do. You're not having it though. Matthew Shelburne says, Tone, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you. Appreciate that. Julia says, I'm 6. Oh, she's on the box sets again. Julia says, I'm 6 minutes away from winning Tug of War Super Deluxe box set. Good luck, Julia. I know you're going to win it. I expect you've also got bids in on 3 others just in case you don't. Good luck with that, Julia. Hope you win it. I'm so pleased that you're on this stream. I was hoping that you would see the notice and come on. Hope you're doing well. Right now, Andrew says, do you think the Beatles are going for the Christmas #1? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what the chances are. Depends it depends what the competition is, I suppose. I don't know, but you know, Free as a Bird and Real Love didn't get to #1. That was 30 years ago. I think the chances are slim. Although 30 years ago we didn't have streaming, did we? So, you know, who knows? Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if the Beatles were #1 for Christmas and Taylor Swift was #2 or something like that, or whatever? Do they still do the X Factor? I don't even know if they still do that. That was always the Christmas #1, the winner of the X Factor, but I'm not sure if they still. I don't think they have the X Factor anymore. I don't know. Tony says, have you heard anything about the box set of Back to the Egg? No, I haven't heard anything official, but I did hear something at the back end of last year, and I did a video on it, and it didn't come to fruition. So the person who thought he was a bit in the know about it, it failed. So I haven't heard anything. Look, as I said, I've done a video on it about clues that we've had about a Back to the Egg box set. It's on the channel. You can find it. It was probably about a year ago I did it, so you don't have to go back that far if you want to watch it. And it basically talks about what would be in that box set if we were to get it. But it also talks about clues that they gave us to say that it was coming, and the fact that they did a remastering of it in 2019 before COVID, so that had already been done. There was the thing in the Got Back tour program. So if you went and saw Paul on his Got Back tour in the US last year, and you bought the tour book, in the tour book that had a page about the archive collection, and it said at the bottom of the article, it said, watch out for new archive editions coming soon. Where are they? And there was the other thing that in the merch for the Got Back tour, so stuff that you could buy, they did this set of coasters, and they were about $50 each for a set of 4 coasters, and each coaster had a record label on it. And there was one that I can't remember, but one of them was Wings Over America. So it was one of the labels from the Wings Over America album. And the other 2 were London Town and Back to the Egg. Now, why would they do, if they're only doing 4, why would they do London Town and Back to the Egg as a coaster if they weren't coming soon as a box set? I mean, that was a year ago, but that was a clue. I took that as a clue. So that is all I've heard. But you know, the work has been done on the remastering. It's just getting all the bits and pieces together, I think. That's what we're waiting for. Julia, have you won that box set yet? Right. I would love to get Driving Rain on vinyl. Yeah, we've already talked about that, Matthew. It is really expensive. It's about 200 quid. You can get it. There are places selling it. I was lucky to pick one up last year, but they are about £200 to get the Driving Rain on vinyl. It's very difficult. Stephen says, have you heard the Beatles 1963 concert tape that was recently found? No, I haven't. And this is pure laziness on my part, because we can, here in the UK, we can go and listen to it in the British Library. It's there to go and listen to, and we've got one. There's one in London and there's one up in Leeds in Yorkshire, up north. And I haven't been, and that is my own fault. And I do intend to go and listen to it, but I just haven't got round to it yet. And I've heard recently that there's a bootleg of it that has surfaced, and it's a 2 CD bootleg, and one of it has got the Stowe concert that you can go and listen to at the British Library, and the second disc is a AI cleaned up version of that album. So someone has applied artificial intelligence to it and cleaned it up a bit, and that's on the second disc. So that's one to look out for. But it must be really interesting to hear the Beatles without all the screaming and stuff like that, especially on that very early tour, doing songs from the Please Please Me album. I will go and listen to it, and when I do go and listen to it, I will do a video and tell you all about it. David says, is Past Masters going to be discontinued in the Giles era? Well, we don't know. We don't know. And like I said earlier in the stream, I kind of I came up with the bits that we need from Past Masters as being the third LP on the blue and the red, to capture all those B-sides, the Long Tall Sally EP, and the tracks from Magical Mystery Tour and Yellow Submarine that aren't actually on the red and the blue album, the original track listing from that. So the Past Masters as it is will become a little bit diminished, even if my proposed disc 3 doesn't happen, and I have absolutely no reason to think that it will. But even if it doesn't, the Past Masters kind of becomes a little bit defunct when we get the remixed red and blue album, because all the A sides, which of course are on the on the red and blue, are also on Past Masters. So all the A sides are already going to get a remix on that by Giles, but it's just the B sides and how they're going to do that. And my idea was to put all the B sides on disc 3, but I doubt that they'll do it. So I think that Past Masters as we know it is discontinued, but we'll see whether we ever end up getting those fantastic B-sides, those standalone B-sides remixed. Jason, hi Jason. Aren't you supposed to be at work by now? No McCartney archive, no Living in the Material World anniversary set, no Lennon anniversary release, no Rubber Soul box. So far, 2023 has not been the year I was expecting. No, not me. Me too. I suppose, it's unrealistic, I suppose, to think that we would get all of these things. We're just going because they're all, 50 years old, well, apart from Rubber Soul, obviously. But I wasn't even that convinced that we were going to get Rubber Soul this year. I thought that they would go with the anniversary and do a 1963 box with Please Please Me and with the Beatles. And I thought that they would do that rather than Rubber Soul to commemorate the 60th anniversary. And I'm amazed that they think that the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of the Red and Blue album is more important than the 60th anniversary of Please Please Me and with the Beatles. But there you go. So yeah, it has been a disappointing year as far as releases go. Living the Material World I would say is definitely off the table for this year. I'm still really hopeful that we might get an announcement for Mind Games for John's birthday. I don't think that's off the table. Rubber Soul looks like it's off the table for this year anyway, because of the red and the blue. They won't put out both, I don't think. But I'm still hopeful for the John Lennon Mind Games Ultimate Mixes, and I'm still hopeful for Ringo 50th anniversary. But obviously less excited about that than I would be for Rubber Soul or Living in the Material World. But you know, it is what it is. What can you do? What can you do? I've got to take a drink. My throat is really dry now. Tony says, asking Stephen, where was it found? Well, I think it was one of the schoolboys that was attending I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure how it was found, but one of the schoolboys that was attending the concert recorded it. How it came out, I don't know. What's that? What you're saying there, Joseph? 8 from the archive. What does that mean? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'd love to get Memory Almost Full. Again, another expensive one to get. See, these ones that are from the CD era are expensive to get on vinyl. They are out there. But they are you know, expensive to find. Joseph says, still waiting for the last 4 from the archive collection in coloured vinyl. Which ones haven't we had on coloured vinyl? Wildlife, Red Rose Speedway. What else is there? Flaming Pie, and Flowers in the Dirt. Are they the ones? I think they're the ones that haven't come out on coloured vinyl yet. But what about all the others? You know, I mean, they haven't only released the archive, the ones that have come out on archive on coloured vinyl, have they? There's been a few that have not come out as an archive that have been out on coloured vinyl, like, you know, the Russian album is one that I can think of the top of my head. No has come out on coloured vinyl. Chaos and Creation has come out on coloured vinyl. So there's a few that are not. So they're not strictly sticking to putting out just the archives, but I think those 4 are the ones that haven't come out. Wildlife, Red Rose Speedway, Flaming Pie, and Flowers in the Dirt. Stephen said, the student who taped it in the school found the tape. Yes, I thought that was the story. Hurrah! Julia has won Tug of War box set for $200. Congratulations, Julia. You saw it here live on my stream. Julia getting yet another box set to add to her collection. Julia's got 3 of the Give Me Some Truth Record Store Day box sets. A fantastic effort that is. Right, where are we going? Tony. Oh, right, okay, that's just a response. Stephen Gilmore is in the house. Hi, Stephen. Late to your first live stream, Tone. It was the middle of my daughter's 21st birthday today, and any chance of a Beatley Tone birthday wish? Yes, happy 20th birthday to Stephen's daughter. Glad that you could make it in the end, Stephen. Glad to see you. Oh, excuse me. I'm doing too. I didn't know there was going to be this much talking. It's not like making videos. You can have a break. Right. So, yeah. So, happy birthday to your daughter, Stephen. I remember my 21st. just about. Martin McGrath is in the house. What's your 5 favorite Paul albums? Well, the thing is, right, I don't really want to say, because I am still I haven't done a Paul McCartney ranking video yet, and I'm just kind of putting it off because it's like there's so many albums and it's quite hard to do. But I'll go with the 5 worst. I'll see what I can come up with the 5 worst, not in any particular order. But covers albums always go to the bottom of my pile. You know, I don't really like covers albums, so we're going to go Kisses on the bottom is like the worst thing he's ever done. I think the Russian album, Run Devil Run. I know people love Run Devil Run, but it's so samey. It's so samey all the way through. I don't like, you know, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Run Devil Run. Give my regards to Broad Street, and then it's going to be a toss-up between McCartney 2 and Pipes of Peace. Which is worse, McCartney 2 or Pipes of Peace? I'm probably going to go Pipes of Peace, I think. So those are my worst 5. I'm not going to give away what my favourite 5 are at this stage, because I need to get on and get that video done. Sorry, Martin. Ralph says, do you think we'll ever see... Oh, we've done that one. We've done that one, haven't we? That's come up again. Stephen says, it's out there. It's interesting. Yes, we're talking about the Stowe School concert, yeah, with no screaming and shouting. Kit's in the house. Hi, Kit. Lovely to see you here. Thanks for joining. Lovely to see you here. Oh, Patricia's here. Patricia is here in the house. It's lovely to see you. Patricia, what did Patricia? I've got it here. Patricia sent me this a couple of weeks ago as a retirement present. It's a postcard. It's a revolver postcard signed by Klaus Voormann. Very lovely of you, Patricia. Thank you so much for that, and thanks for joining the live stream. Really love you. I was absolutely thrilled to get that from you. So thank you so much. Really, really, really kind of you. Thanks very much, and thanks for joining. Right, who else have we got? Bob F. I have Back Tooth Egg. Is that an alternative version of Back to the Egg? Back to the Egg on CD, and another CD, Back to the Egg, expanded with long version Goodnight Tonight and 6 bonus tracks. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what the bonus tracks are, but there were quite a lot of outtakes around that period, or maybe there was a bootleg CD called Eggs Up or something like that, which had a lot of alternative mixes on it and some extra tracks, but we'd love to get the official archive collection with all that lovely extra material. Rockestra. Jimmy says Rockestra rights issues. I'm not sure of how much of a problem that is. I mean, that could be. There's a lot of our artists that are on that are signed to different labels, but don't they get permission when they originally made the album? Surely the permission is there then. I would have thought. I don't know about that sort of thing. I'm not a lawyer, but I would have thought that all the permission from all the various record companies that for all the people that were on the Rockestra tracks or played in the Rockestra live at the concert for Campuchia, surely all that because that has been out, that the Rockestra theme was on the concert for Campuchia album, where they had side 4 was all from the Wings performance, and that included Rockestra. So I'm thinking that they've probably already got all the rights sorted out. I'm not sure if that is actually the reason why it's being delayed, but it could be. Tony Dickens says, I wish Paul appreciated Back to the Egg the way his fans do. Yeah, I mean, he's never played. I went to the UK tour. I saw 3 dates on the UK tour in 1979 and the concert for Campuchia, where he did basically the same set as he'd done on the normal tour. He's never returned to any of the songs from Back to the Egg. I think he did about 6 from Back to the Egg. He's never done any of them since, as far as I'm aware. What did he do? What ones did he do? He did Getting Closer, Spin It On, Old Siams, Arrow Through Me, Again and Again and Again. And was there another one? Can't remember. But yeah, I think he did 5 or 6. He did 5 or 6. Doc says, do you ever wear a hat? No, I don't. I don't ever wear a hat. Well, I've got this hat. I've got a bucket hat. But look, I am a shit hat wearer. I never wear a hat because hats just don't suit me. I've just got the wrong sort of head for a hat. So I just wear my baldness with pride. So I don't ever wear a hat. Peter McGarry says, hello again. Hello, Peter. Elvin says, hello, Beatley from Toronto. Hi, Elvin from Toronto. Oh, Marcus is here. Hi, Marcus. Hi, thanks for joining. Matthew is here. I have a theory that they may release London Town Archive collection in 2028 with half-speed master version of London Town, similar to Flaming Part. Oh my God, we don't want to wait till then. This is the problem. They're taking so long over this project that half of us won't be here by the time they finish it. And if we are still here, we'll be so deaf that we won't be able to hear whether it's been remastered, remixed, or anything. So there won't be any point. So for goodness sake, get them out. Get them out. I'm not sure what Julie's talking to. Tony Dickens, what's he saying? What's he talking about? Back to the Egg. Oh, she's talking about Back to the Egg. Yeah, Back to the Egg. Great album. Much unloved album. Underrated album. I think it's grown. It's grown with time. There were things on that album that when I first heard it, I thought, there. Yeah, things like To You, and I love that song now. And the ballady ones, Winter Rose, Love Awake, and that sort of stuff. I've never really liked Again and Again and Again. But Arrow Through Me is great. Love Old Siams, Getting Closer. We're Open Tonight, a great track. It always does. Or during that period, it always used to track 3 on his albums. Always used to be like an acoustic ballad. So like We're Open Tonight on Back to the Egg, on London Town, I'm Carrying, on Venus and Mars, he had Loving Song. It's that sort of thing. It wasn't always the Band on the Run, Bluebird. So acoustic ballads, track 3. That was his thing. And I was in the studio 14 years ago to the day after the album cover shoot. I'm not sure what we're talking about there, Dave. Graham says, for the best sounding Beatles is the Blu-ray of Beatles Plus set, all remastered and in 5.1. Bit loud. It's a bit loud in places. I don't think, you know what? I don't think 5.1 is the best way to listen to music. I never have. We listen to music for decades in stereo before 5.1 was invented, and then all of a sudden everyone wants it in 5.1 and Dolby Atmos. And I still prefer to listen to music in stereo. It just feels I like music coming at me from the front rather than it happening all to the sides. Do you know what I mean? Hearing a cymbal twinkling in the left-hand speaker at the back. I've got 5.1. It's great. It's great for TV. I'm not that fussed about listening to music. I always give it a listen. I do always give it a listen. But I don't really return to it. But I think the remixes that were done in 2015 for OnePlus, they're pretty good. But you've still got You still got panning. They're very, very loud as well. They're a little bit brash, I think. I think that they can do better if they do the demixing and remixing. So I'm not sure if I agree, Graham, on that one. But we've all got different ears. We've all got different hi-fi equipment. So we hear what we hear, and we all hear everything different. And to talk about it, and we won't all necessarily agree with everyone else's opinion, but that's what makes it interesting to talk about. That we all that we've all got different opinions. Okay, where we go? How are we doing? Jamie says, I actually made a record at Studio 2 at Abbey Road 2 years ago. It was one of the best moments of my life. We worked there for 3 days, and I very much made sure I explored every part of the building. That's really interesting, Jamie. Are you in a professional band, or did you just get like an opportunity? Did you just pay to record with your band there, or as a solo artist? Love to hear more about that, Jamie. Julia says, is there an option for super chat? I don't know what that is. What is super chat? I don't know what super chat is. What's super chat? I'm a bit, this is my first one. I'll find out next time what super chat means. But tell me what it means. Tell me what it means. Julia, please tell me what that means. I don't know what that means. What's Jimmy saying? There's a bootleg green out. Oh, there's a bootleg of everything in there. Do you think the Beatles Carnival, bloody Carnival of Light? Everyone wants to hear Carnival of Light until that moment when they hear it, and then they'll never want to hear it again. That's what I mean. I haven't heard it, but from what I know about that song, it's just like noises, and it's a bit like, I guess it's a little bit like Two Virgins or something like that. It's it's a piece of avant-garde music, and I think that I think people are interested to hear it, and I think once people have heard it, they won't ever want to hear it again. I don't think, but it's 14 minutes long for a start, so I'm not sure whether it will ever be released. I'm not sure what the opportunity would be to release it. We know that Paul wanted it as part of Anthology 2, didn't he? But George vetoed it, so it wasn't there. But I'm pretty sure that once everyone hears it, everyone will stop wanting to hear it, I think. Yes, absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. He didn't up to a point, and then all of a sudden he did. I always thought that doing something like When We Was Fab was quite an unusual step for George, because, like you say, he hadn't really embraced his Beatles past up until that point. I mean, there'd been the odd moment, in Living in the Material World, met them all here in the Material World, John and Paul here in the Material World, that sort of stuff. Little references, and he'd made lots of lyrics, I think, on All Things Must Pass, are about the Beatles, on quite a few songs on that. But he hadn't really embraced it during the solo years, during the 70s and 80s, and then all of a sudden he does When We Was Fab, which was obviously a big tribute, and he was embracing that. James says, by all accounts, of the few people who've heard Carnival of Light, it isn't really worth hearing. Yeah, exactly that. Tony says, Mind Games box set this year, please. We'd love it. I mean, the Ultimate Mixes box sets have been fantastic. For me, these are the box sets that are the benchmark against which all other box sets should be judged. Better than the Beatles box sets that we've had, better than the Archive collection, because it's got absolutely everything you want. An absolutely fantastic remix, disc after disc after disc of music, nice book. What else could you want? It is a fan, and also a really good price point as well. So I really hope that the Ultimate Mixes box set continues with Mind Games this year. I'm really disappointed that we didn't get Sometime in New York City as an Ultimate Mixes box set. I know that it's not a popular album. It's not a popular album, but it is a really interesting album, and I would have liked to have seen that done again. Bob says, I have Carnival Light from Japan's CD. It's over 40 minutes long. Think Revolution 9. It's not a song yet. That is pretty much it. Although, we never know. I'm not sure if we ever know whether the Carnival of Lights that we have seen out there are actually the real Carnival of Light. We won't ever know until it's officially released. But 14 minutes, it sounds like it could be the real McCoy. Brian says, Nunes, what are we talking about? We're talking about football. We're talking about Liverpool. I don't know. James says McCartney has the only copy of Carnival of Light. No other copy exists. Well, that's what I thought. Bob counters with that Paul knows of. Again, that could be true as well. We've done that one. We'll get the same things coming up. I don't want to miss anything. Matthew says, I think Bound on the Run, Half Speed Master will be released early. It won't be released early in 1974 because that was 50 years ago. But I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. You mean 2024, and I agree. I think it will be, Matthew. Music Gears, Beatley Townsville Show. This live chat is super fun. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you have joined and you are enjoying it. That's fantastic news. I was really nervous about doing the first one, but now I've got all the. I know that the tech works, and and everyone's. You always have this fear. Well, I guess you always have this fear if you do a live chat that no one's going to turn up. But I think we've got 74 people on at the moment. If you have enjoyed this chat, please give it a like, because that helps. Maybe other people that that haven't been able to get on live, maybe they'll get it in their on their YouTube page. But I'm glad that everyone is enjoying it. I'm thinking that I'm going to have to wrap it up fairly soon. It's 1 a.m. here, but we'll keep going for a bit because I want to try and get through as many of these comments as they are. I was worried that we wouldn't have anything to talk about, because I was thinking, we'll start off talking about Ringo's EP and then see what happens. But you guys have taken this over, and my channel is absolutely nothing. Without you people, the channel is nothing. So really glad that you have come on tonight, not left me looking like a lonely turd here on my own, and have kept the questions coming and kept the chat going. So really appreciate that, and really appreciate your involvement with the channel. Thanks very much for that. Okay, where are we going now? Bob's old records. If the red and blue reissues come out, I hope they aren't pre-scratched like they were last time. Well, if they are, you just send them back. I got when the Wildlife Half Speed Master came out last year, I had a little jump on the track Wildlife. It was just 4 revolutions of the record. It just popped 4 times as it went round on the track Wildlife, and I just emailed MPL and they just changed it, and they didn't even ask me to send the old one back. They just sent me a new one. They just sent me a new one, which was fine. So if you get a scratch one, just send it back. It's the same with these, loads of people were getting scratched, that people bought the Paul McCartney singles box, had damaged covers or damaged labels or, scratches and stuff. They changed them all. They changed them all. So don't put up with scratch records if you get them. John says, Beatley love to hear George's 1974 concerts on video, Blu-ray and vinyl and CD, and John's Madison Square Garden shows all cleaned up, and give fans something different. Yeah, well, I thought that, if they put out a box set for some time in New York City, I thought the one-to-one concert, a cleaned up one-to-one, which we believe has already been done by Jack Douglas, I believe, has done that already. I thought that would be part of sometime in New York City. I wish it had, if that had come out. But yes, it is due. It should be cleaned up. It would be great to get like both shows on a Blu-ray. And also the sound. Get a new CD and a cleaned up album of it as well, because the production on it is not that great. We all know that John didn't want that coming out anyway, because there were so many errors. They made so many cock-ups on the songs. He didn't want it coming out. But luckily Yoko thought different, and we got it, and we should be grateful to Yoko for that. But let's get it cleaned up. And George's 1974 concerts. Now, this came up on a podcast that I did on Ken Michaels Radio the other day. We'd all love George's 1974 concerts to come out. Now, I'm not sure how many of them were recorded professionally, but or filmed professionally, if any. But if we could get that would be fantastic. But my sort of counter argument to that was, I wondered whether the George camp would put that out because of the state of George's voice on that tour. They wouldn't want to put out something that was maybe doesn't reflect well on George. To which Ken said, and Ken was right, he said maybe if lots of shows were recorded, maybe they could pick a track from this show where his voice was good, and another track from another show where his voice was good. So, maybe they could cobble something together. But yeah, I mean, the 1974 gigs, it's the only tour that he did before the Japan tour. So, historically, that would be a fantastic thing to have. Graham says, why would we want a half-speed for Band on the Run? We already got the remastered in the archive. Yeah, that's true, but these half-speed masters are absolutely they just sound amazing. I mean, they've all been brilliant. So all the ones that we've had so far, the 4 that we've had so far, have all been absolutely fantastic. And if I want to play McCartney or Ram or Wildlife or Red Rose Speedway, I'm going to the half-speed masters rather than the archive. So yeah, I welcome it. And that what these things are, Graham. I've said this before. I'd rather have loads of stuff out there and us have the choice to say, yes, I want that, or no, I don't want that, rather than how it used to be back in the 70s when we never had anything. I'd rather have a release of a Band on the Run on half-speed master, and those that don't want it don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it. No one is putting a gun to your head. So, if you don't want it, you don't buy it. But I'd just rather have stuff out there and give us the choice. If we want to buy it, we can buy it. If we don't want to buy it, we don't have to. And, that's it. But, if you haven't listened to, if you haven't heard any of these half-speed masters, Graham, I thoroughly recommend, just go and get one of them. Just try, see what you think, because they just sound fabulous, I think. Farrell's here. Hi, Farrell. I had an original half-speed master of Band on the Run, which I regret selling. I didn't get half-speed mastering I didn't get Half Speed Mastering in 1983. Fair enough. Fair enough. So fingers crossed Peter Jackson will remix the Star Club tapes. Well, yeah, if he does, then that would be great. I have no interest in hearing the record that I've got again as it is at the moment, but a cleaned up version would be really interesting, I have to say. I agree. Thanks, Simon. Andrew, you're still here. I thought you were going to bed. It's 1:10. It's 1:10. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound like your mum there. Right. Okay. Do you think there is we've already had that one. Is there any future for John Lennon boxes? Have we already had that one? I can't remember if we already had one. Yes, I do. I do think there's a future for John Lennon box sets. I'm really still hopeful that Mind Games is going to come out in a box set. Hopefully we'll get an announcement very, very soon. But, you know, I don't see why not, because they're obviously still interested in issuing box sets, because they issued a box set for Record Store Day just a few months ago. So, you know, I think that they are still, I think John Lennon box sets are still on the table. I think Live at Stowe would be released before Star Club. Yes, I think so too. I would, as I say, I was talking about you know, a 1963 box including Please Please Me and with the Beatles. But even if we don't get that, I would think that the Stowe concert could be included either in that combined box, or just a box for Please Please Me could include a cleaned up version of the Stowe concert, because I think that they're going to be a little bit short of outtakes for you know, for the Please Please Me box set, and that would be a good way of padding it out. It'd be really interesting. Elmos says Star Club or Now and Then. Now and Then, hands down, because I've already got the Star Club. But you prefer the Star Club. Okay. Fair enough. You know, we like what we like. Peter says Star Club is what people really want. Make it a double with Chase Stadium. I can't really see that. I think both stand alone. I mean, maybe if they were to do some sort, you know, if there was to be some sort of Beatles live compilation where they took, you know, bits that they've recorded from every, you know, from whatever tour that they have got recorded, that would be interesting. That would be a reason to maybe mix some tracks from, you know, Shea Stadium on the same as the Star Club. But I can't see a Star Club and Shea Stadium combo LP. But you know, the Star Club is what people really want. I think there are a lot of people that do want the Star Club. There are other things that I want, loads of things that I want before I want the Star Club Hamburg, because you know, I like it from the historic point of view. But you know, even a cleaned up version, I don't see myself going back to it that often if I had it. But you know, there are other things that are way up my list personally. But I think a lot of people would like the Star Club Hamburg. So you know, it's a fair shout, Peter. Bob says Delta Mono mixes Please Please Me need to be released. No Peter Jackson needed. They're perfect as is. Well, the thing is that they're not perfect, because they've got this panning. They've got the vocals on one speaker and the music on the other, and we need a balanced mix, and that's the whole point, I think, of the demixing process. Well, one of the points, it's one of the big things for me. I prefer to listen to music in stereo rather than mono, and what we are lacking is good stereo mixes of the early Beatles albums. So I think that they do need to do the demixing and get that. I want my lead vocals coming at me from the center, and I want my drums coming at me from the center as well, as if I'm watching a live band, and then the guitars and the basses and the backing vocals and stuff can be, on either side. But those things I want in the center. I don't want all my music on one side and all my vocals on the other. That just sounds weird to me. So okay, right. Peter says he must check out Back to the Egg. You must. It's a great album. It's a great album. I'm seeing comments that I've seen before. I'm not sure why. I don't know if people are copying and pasting their comments because I haven't got to them yet. I'm sorry. I don't know how far down I am, but maybe I'm just talking too much on each comment. Music Soundgear says, I wish they would release deluxe editions like Fleetwood Mac's 1975 LP. It came with 180 gram vinyl, 3 CDs and 1 DVD. Sounds excellent. It was about 70 quid. That's really good. I bought an original of that album just a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I showed it in a video a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic album. I've never owned it, and that sounds like an interesting box set. Well, it says, hi Tone, been in and out, so not sure what's been spoken about. Perhaps the latest McCartney dates would be of interest to some people. Hope you'll post the full stream after to watch back. Yes, I will. I will post the full stream once I work out how to do it. I haven't got the dates to hand at the moment. I did do a video about the Australian gigs. The Brazilian and the Mexico gig have been announced since then. I'm sorry I haven't actually done a video on those yet, but I know that there's lots of you in Australia that have managed to get tickets for gigs, and when you've been to the gigs, I'd like to kind of this is just an idea that I've got, and it depends who wants to be on, but I'd like to do a video with people that have been to the gigs. So if there's 3 of you, I'd like to have 3 of you on video, and we can all talk about, you can tell me all about the gigs, what he did, how he sounded, all that sort of thing about your gig experience. For anyone who is happy to be on camera, that would be a video that I would like to do after you've been to your respective shows. So bear that in mind. If you want to be part of that, I will put a post up and ask for people bit nearer the time. Jimmy says, Paul and Ringo, the Totals. Okay, the Totals. Matthew Shelburne. Is it because Ringo would want to sing an equal amount of songs as Paul if they were to tour together? Yeah, I just don't see that. I don't see that as a viable thing. I can see them turning up, at specific gigs and doing a couple of songs together, but I don't see a full tour of Paul and Ringo, I'm afraid. Matthew says, hoping to get the Glastonbury voice in Melbourne. I can't remember which one is the first show. I hope you do as well. I hope he does some fantastic gigs in Australia. I think there's at least four subscribers to my channel that have got tickets for at least one of the gigs. So I really hope that you get a great show and you have a fantastic night. Jimmy says he took a big dose of anti-croak throat. He took a big dose of anti-croak throat spray for Glastonbury. He did. Well, something happened. It could well have been that. Why not? Has Ringo ever played a full concert as the only drummer since he left the Beatles? Oh, I don't think so. No, I'm going to say no. If you know better, because I think that when he does a full concert, he likes to sing. and mostly when he sings, he's mostly up front. So he uses Greg Bissonette is the drummer that he tours with at the moment. Anyway, so I don't think he has. Cranberry Sauce says, I know it will never happen, but it would be neat to see Julian, Sean, James, Danny, and Zach do a gig of covers of their dad's songs. I don't think it will ever happen either. I'm not sure how great it would be, but yeah, the thing is that I don't really know what James is doing, but Julian, Sean, Danny, and Zach, they are trying to make their way in music without piggybacking on their dad's career. They're trying to do it on their own. So I can't really see it doing that. I kind of draw the line at Beatles children as far as records that I buy. I don't buy Julian or Sean's records. I did buy Julian's first album, Velour. I did buy that, but I haven't bought anything since, and I haven't got anything by any of the others. So yeah, I'm sure it would be interesting. So who are we having on bass in that lineup? So we've got Zach on drums, we've got Danny on guitar, Julian on guitar, Sean on guitar, and James on guitar. It's a bit guitar heavy. We'll have to see. I'm not sure it's going to work. Where can we? Elfin says, "Can we refrain from reposting messages?" You do what you like, but I am seeing messages coming up twice, so I think I've got more to go than I have. But I am going down them in order. So if you have posted something, you don't have to post it again. I will get to it. Only if you see me go past your message, then you can then post it again. It's fine. I'm not sure what Tony's talking about there. Cranberry Sauce wouldn't be one. Oh, he's talking about the children, the Beatles kids, live doing Beatles covers. So Matt's got a ticket for Melbourne. Fantastic. Julius says, I thought Ringo's Rewind Forward sounded like 70s Ringo. I did as well, actually. At the very beginning of the song, it did sound like something from sort of, Goodnight Vienna or something. It's just the way that the song was phrased. It was that kind of, the rhyming, rhyming line 2 with line 1, etc., etc. It did have that sort of feel, definitely did have that sort of feel. What did you think of it, Julia? Jismism, Ringo's new EP, great. Jeff Lynnish production, but weak chorus. Yeah. I thought it was it's kind of what you expect from Ringo. It didn't definitely didn't pull up any trees or break any barriers or anything like that. Okay. David says Ringo box set should be released sooner instead of later. Absolutely agree. Graham says Ringo's coloured vinyl are as followed: Old Waves, I Want to Be Santa Claus, Stop Smelling Roses, and Live at the Greek Theatre. Okay. So I've got Old Wave and I've got Stop and Smell the Roses. I've got a black vinyl version of I Want to Be Santa Claus. I'm not buying coloured vinyl of that. Live at the Greek Theatre, I haven't been able to get that. I think that's on green vinyl, I think, if I remember rightly. Matthew says, I've been and scouted exactly where I'm sitting for the concert, Matt. Are you going to see Paul on this tour? So Matthew knows he's spotted his seat. Thumbs up for the stream, everyone. Yes, please. Yeah, give it a like. That would be absolutely fantastic. Julia, I'm so happy of lots of free time with no worries. Very happy indeed, and do more lives. Yes, I will. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, and thank you for being here. Jimmy's gone. Good night, Jimmy. Thanks for coming on. Alf says, do you agree with your tone? I wish people like Giles Martin shouldn't be ripping off people with his so-called remix syndrome. No, I don't. I don't agree with you, Alf. I don't think he's ripping anyone off because, you know, no one is putting a gun to your head. You don't have to buy these remixes on us. As I said earlier, I'd rather have these things out there for people to buy if they want to, and if they don't want to buy them, they don't have to buy them. So I want stuff remix. I like having new things to listen to, and as far as the Beatles early stuff goes, it needs remixing because we need to get rid of that panning. So I don't think it's ripping people off. So sorry, I don't agree with you on that. But you're entitled to your opinion. And if you're not into this, then you don't buy them, and that's But it really is as simple as that. It's just a matter of choice, and there's no wrong or right answer to that. Jake says, where did you get that call on air BBC sign? That sign, my wife got that from an antique shop. She saw it in an antique shop and bought it. We've had it about 3 years. This is the first time I've ever put it to any use. It's the first time it's been plugged in. But yeah, it's got this. It goes on and off as well. Derek Roberts says, "Hey, Derek. We've had that one." Ism says 2 words. Great shirt. This shirt. Thank you. Julie says, I wouldn't miss a live with. Thank you, Julia. Thank you. Love ya. Right. Okay. Where are we? Derek. Box set of London Town. Yes. Matthew says, nice one. Yes, I'm in the nosebleed section, L334. Saw him in Melbourne 6 years ago, and it was 3 hours of pure joy. Really excited about seeing him, and you should be. Doesn't matter where you're sitting. Obviously, if you're sitting near the front, you are going to have an absolute blast. But he'll have the big screens and stuff. Sorry, my leg's cramping up. I've got live cramp. I'm all right now. Yeah, if you're up in the gods, then you'll have the screens. You'll be able to see everything. I have been to 1 or 2 gigs where I've been up in the gods, so you're just going to have a fantastic time. I mean, how that man does 3 hours at his age, I haven't got the foggiest. He's got amounts of energy, unknown, and we know that his voice, it's not what it used to be, but he will give it everything he's got. And there's nothing wrong with his bass playing, there's nothing wrong with his guitar playing, and there's nothing wrong with his piano playing. And just the fact that you are breathing the same air as a living legend should be enough to make sure that you have a great night. So I hope everyone that is going to the gigs in Australia and Brazil and Mexico, if there is anyone here going to those gigs, you have an absolute belter. What's going on? Julia said, she's won 239, the limited edition of 1,000 sets, the red laminated cover. Are we talking Tug of War again? Still talking about Tug of War. Graham says the Stoke concert, if completely free online with great sound. You mean to tell me I haven't got to go to the British Library to hear it? Okay, well, I will have a look for that. Okay, Ralph is confirming you hear it on YouTube. Right, I will be looking for it on YouTube. Matt's on level 3 too, but I'm opposite side of Marvel. Marvel, I think, is the name of the venue. Is that right? I can't remember. Alf says the 2 best albums, Tone. Please, Please Me and Rubber Soul. Not for me. My 2 best albums are the White Album and Abbey Road. They in that order. White Album number 1, Abbey Road number 2. Rubber Soul is quite near the top. Please Please Me quite near the bottom for me. Nick, hey Nick, are you in the UK now? Are you in the UK? I can't believe that you've travelled. You said you were getting here in the weekend, and it's 1:30 in the morning. You obviously got jet lag or something, or you can't get to sleep or whatever. If you are in the UK, great to see you, Nick, and I will see you on the 5th, right? I'll see you on the 5th. Graham says buying Blu-ray DVD Beatles is brilliant. Oh, we've done that already. We've done that one. That's the 1+, isn't it? Tony says no Mind Games box set for the 50th anniversary. Well, we don't know. There's still time. I think it was released in November 1973, so there's still time to meet that date. But maybe an announcement soon, and maybe that they like to put something out for John's birthday. So let's hope that is what it's going to be this year. Sorry, I'm just going to have a quick drink. Goodness me, we've been on for 2 hours. Andrew Ethelfog, sorry, going to bed. I'm in charge of the ward in 6.5 hours. Are you a doctor? Are we talking about Dr. Frog? Well, thanks very much for coming on, Andrew. Oh, goodness me. Right. Okay. Thanks, Andrew. I'll speak to you soon. James says, will you be getting Philip Norman's George book? I think it comes out in November. I too am impatiently hoping for a Mind Games and Material World collection. I'm probably not going to get Philip Norman's, but I don't really like Philip Norman as a writer. I've read a couple of, I read Shout, and I read the one he did on the Stones, and I think I've got a John Lennon one that he did. I can't remember now, but I probably won't be getting that. I've got so much reading material at the moment to get through, and I can't do another one at the moment, so I probably won't. But Mind Games and Material World, bring them on. David, I'm not sure what that means. I think it has copyrights to do, etc. for the red and the blue. Not sure what that's to do with. Farrell says it shouldn't take as long to just remix the albums as it did to write and record them. Yeah, absolutely. I don't get. Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. It probably, with this new process, it probably does take a long time to demix it and then remix it and then master it. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, some of those albums they recorded really quickly, especially Please Please Me. I mean, it's going to take them more than 10 hours, isn't it, to remix an album? But yeah, I take your point. And it's funny. The school kid probably used his iPhone to record it. Yeah, as if he wishes he could have used his iPhone. I think Apple is struggling with the mechanicals and royalties in this YouTube era. I don't know. But don't you think it's weird that Apple don't have a YouTube channel or even a Twitter account where they can talk to fans and speak to fans and chew the fat, see what the fans want, and give the fans what they want, because they've spoken to them and they now know what the fans want. Bob says he taped Surfing Bird Over Money on the Stowe show. No, it says, I hope to get the Rubber Soul remix, etc. Yes, we all hope that's going to happen very soon. Tony says, didn't Giles Martin say he was working on Rubber Soul? Yes, he did. And I believe that the remix for Rubber Soul has been done, and the Rubber Soul songs that we hear on the Red album that's coming out will be the remix that was done probably a year. As he said, when he was doing, before Revolver came out, he said they were thinking of doing a combined box set of Revolver and Rubber Soul. So they must have done the work back then, I think, for the Rubber Soul album. James says, I don't often play the Russian album, but I think Don't Get Around Much Anymore is just amazing. Cracking Up is great. Yeah, I prefer the Russian album to Run Devil Run, which is kind of an album of the same sort of genre. Yeah, I think there's some good stuff on the Russian album for sure. Joseph says, Tone, correct, I'm waiting for the last full coloured vinyls of the archive. Sorry, that's okay, my friend. David says, Tony, it's about making the Beatles legend to conform to the post-hard media world. Yeah. I think Ralph is saying, you can hear the full live Stowe concert on YouTube, Tony. It runs for a little over an hour. Thanks very much, Ralph. I will go and seek that out. Julia says, Tone, any interest in the Who's Next box set coming out in a couple of weeks? Yes, there is. It is my favourite Who album, and I can't decide which version of Who's Next to go for. I don't think that they're going to sell out, so I'm not panicking about it. I kind of like the 10 CD version of it, but I'm not sure if I need it. I have got a Who's Next CD which has got a disc of extra songs on it already, but I'm quite interested in the live stuff, and I'd quite like a version on vinyl. And so I think I'm probably going to go for one of the. I think there's a four LP set. I need to revisit the announcement and go through the versions. I'm not sure which one I'm getting, but I am definitely going to get something. It is my favourite Who album. Brilliant album. James says, my top 5 Paul albums: Ram, Band on the Run, Tug of War, Flaming Pie. No, that's an interesting one for top 5. That's a good top 5. Julie says, I love Pipes of Peach. Ollie, hi Ollie, nice to see you. We're going to be going soon, but thanks for coming. Thanks for turning up. Now Graham is correct. Is questioning the Pipes of Peach thing off from Julia. Elvin says, I would like to see Star Club with newly discovered school. AMI House, Decca Audition, Tony Sheridan tape using Peter Jackson technology in a historic Beatles live box, all in one place. Yes. As I say, not. I mean, I've got an album of the Decca Audition that came out in the 80s. It's called The Complete Silver Beatles, and it's got the whole audition on it. They didn't have to do a long audition. You think when you do an audition, you might do 1, 2, 3 songs. I mean, they did about 15 songs as their audition. But but yeah, Sheridan. I've got a Tony Sheridan album as well. But look, if people want it, then I hope that they, that they get it. But how often do they give us what we actually want? Because they never speak to us. They never speak to us and ask us what we want. Brian says, do we know what Peter Jackson is currently working on for the Beatles? No, we don't. Not for sure. People are saying that I think it's a toss-up between the Star Club. If he's working on anything, we don't even know that he is definitely working on something for the Beatles, because we automatically assume that, I've said this earlier in the stream, I don't know if you were here, Brian, but I said that we automatically assume that Peter Jackson's film career is over and now he just works for us, sorting out, cleaning up Beatles stuff from the 60s. But, I think the smart money, if he is working on anything, it's either the Star Club or he's working on a cleaning up of the anthology series that we're talking about, the video anthology series. So there you go. Ollie says, what's your tipple? Right, okay, so I don't really drink that much, but I'm not teetotal. So if I'm drinking beer, it's usually lager or cider. If I'm drinking Schultz, it's gin and tonic. So there you go. Right, so Graham's restating that there's a good online Stowe concert online. Let's have a look for it. We need a Blu-ray Shea Stadium release. Yeah, sure, we do. Bob's Old Record. Wonderful Christmas Time. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was on the original Get Back CD issue. Yes, it was. And Wonderful Christmas Time has already come out on the McCartney 2 archive edition. So I don't think that is going to be on the Back to the Egg archive when it comes out. But Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reggae, I think, is the actual title. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reggae. One of Paul's very, very dark moments, will probably be on the Back to the Egg box set. Tony says you look better without the hat. Yeah, I know. I have not got a head for hats. Tony, have you watched the McCartney 1, 2, 3 video? Paul, this is the Rick Rubin thing you're talking about. Yeah, I thought it was good. Enjoyed it. Do you have any pictures of you with hair? Jody, do you have any pictures of you with hair? Yes, I do. I'm not sure how to share them on here. But there was one in one of the videos that I did recently, which had a picture of me in my bedroom in the 70s where, I had hair. But yeah, I did. Baldness with pride. That's me. I say baldness with pride. It's not really pride. I just haven't got any choice. I'm going bald. And that's it. What is your source for the Dark Horse reissues? I think it's Noise 111 or something like that. It's an Australian website. I think that is where I heard the news. Yeah, I'm gonna try and sort of skip past things where people are talking to each other, because you're talking amongst yourselves in the comments, which is absolutely fine. But I won't put them up on the screen because you're not talking to me. So I'm not sure what it is you're talking about. Jody, love your garden. Thank you very much. I love my garden as well. It's my kind of sort of pride and joy, and I spend quite a lot of time doing that garden. It's not a low maintenance garden, unfortunately, but thank you. Bob says, what do they need to do when there's a London Town box set sorry, what they need to do. What they need to do when there's a London Town box set is show what Denny's holding in the cover photo. I'm trying to think what he's holding. I haven't got a London Town. I haven't got a London Town cover here. Okay. Right, Andy, 1962. So there's very real danger that Paul and Ringo might not live to see all these projects we want released. Not trying to be cruel about this. It's a very real possibility. Yes, it is. Sadly, it is, and they are taking so long over getting these things out. And it's not just them, but also. I mean, I'm presuming that you're Andy. 1962 means that you were born in 1962. So you're a year younger than me. But for first generation, not us, but for first, not just Paul and Ringo, but also first generation, Beatles fans, may not be around, to see the end of this project. As well, any of us might not be, but let's hope we are. But we do really need them to get on with it, really. Julia says, my dad didn't think much of Back to the Egg when it came out too, but when he introduced it to me in 2002, I was 11. He enjoyed it a lot. I think it's awesome. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. This is what happens. You see, you sometimes you kind of dismiss an album, and then you come back to it, and all of a sudden it kind of drops. And I think it's something to do with. I mean, obviously not when you were 11, but for your dad, the age your dad was at 2002. Maybe he hadn't really listened to the album since 1979. And I find that as you get older, your tastes mellow a little bit, and you're not that sort of pop snob that you were when you were young, and pop music was like the most important thing in your life. I found that with Mull of Kintyre. I hated Mull of Kintyre when it came out, and it was in the sort of the throes of punk rock in the UK. And I was kind of getting into that because I was 16, and that was the thing. All my friends were getting into it, and I was getting into it, and it was kind of a little bit conflicting because punk rock was essentially anti-Beatles, but I was conflicted. There's on one hand, I'm pogoing around my bedroom in my socks, listening to the Sex Pistols, and then on the other hand, I'm listening to Sgt. Pepper in my headphones with the lights off and all that sort of stuff. So when I first heard Mull of Kintyre when it came out, I hated it. It was punk rock, and he had the audacity, the chutzpah, to put out a Scottish waltz in the middle of punk rock, and I hated it, and it drove me mad. But now when I listen to it, I'm kind of bagpipes, nice. So that's how you taste mellow over years. So yeah, that's great. Right, what is this? Joseph says, Tone, great maiden voice of the live stream. Congratulations, good night. Thank you, and good night to you, Joseph. Thanks for being on. Julia says, we give you money. We give you money. Oh, is that the super chat thing? Oh, no. I don't want money. I'm doing this out of love. I don't need money for doing a live chat. Thank you though, but thank you. I just really appreciate your everyone's support. Fantastic. I've got so many fantastic people on my channel that really get involved with the channel, and like I've said loads of times before, without you the channel doesn't exist. It's nothing. So I'm really grateful to be here. So I don't want paying for coming to do a live a live stream. It's fantastic that you are all here, so thank you all very much. Tony says, oh, you get money for super chat. Julia says, super chat equals money. Thank you. Super chat is Bob says super chat is when you beg for money on a live stream. I'm begging, please don't send me any money. It's okay, but thank you very much. Thank you very much. All those years ago was about John. Yes, it was. What's this? George was great in the Rattles. All You Need Is Cash. Yes, he was, as the little reporter. Julia says, Bob, it's not begging for money. It's showing appreciation for Tone's efforts. It's 3 a.m. there. Is it? No, it's not. It's 10 to 2. It's 10 to 2. But thank you, Julia. Thank you. I do appreciate that comment. But honestly, I don't need to send. You don't need to send me money. It's absolutely fine. I'll make sure that the super chat thing's switched on next time. Joking. I'm joking. Right. What's this? That's in part because his business manager of a film company ran off with George's money. Yes, that is why he did the. That's why he did the anthology. Yeah. Jamie, who did the recording at Abbey Road, is answering my question here. I said what the circumstances. He says he works as a session player as well as being an artist in my own right and draw. The Abbey Road sessions was me playing bass on my producer's EP. Hardly an opportunity I could turn down. No, not. What a fantastic experience. That's fantastic that you're able to say that you have recorded at Abbey Road and had a little sniff round and had a little nosy around the studio. David said George needed anthology. Yes, he did. He needed the money. Bob says, if Carnival doesn't have John screaming Barcelona, it's not authentic. Safe and Sound Texas audio excursion. George, the Rodney Dangerfield of the Fab Four. Julia says, Tone, you are without doubt my favourite Beatles solo channel. But thank you so much, Julia. I really, really appreciate that comment. Thank you. That's really, really kind of you. Thank you. Michael Patrick McGrath says, I really, really, really wish we could get volume 2 to George's early takes, or better yet, a Harrison anthology and a live in Japan Blu-ray. Yes, you know, when they called early takes volume 1, I think they've forgotten that they called it early takes volume 1, and that's why they haven't bothered to do a volume 2. But you know, I would like a volume 2 would be great, but I'm happy for them to put out like outtakes and demos and stuff if they with a box set for each album, if that's what they want to do. But it would be great to, you know, get, you know, to George has always been really stingy, you know, about unreleased material. And Paul is to a certain extent as well. So yeah, it would be great to get into those archives. Tony Dickens agrees. I've already done that one. Bob says, I bought 3 copies of 67 70 and they all had scratches on Strawberry Fields Forever. My original single sounds, but that is really weird. Obviously, it all came from a dodgy batch. Tony agrees. George's voice wasn't the greatest on the Dark Horse tour. Bob says the Dark Horse 1974 gig sounded like Rod Stewart with laryngitis. That yeah. Actually, he still sounded better than Rod, didn't he? But yeah, I get the point. Michael says, do you know if Harrison's last performance in 92 at the Royal Albert Hall was filmed or if videos exist? I don't. I was actually at that gig. That's obviously the only time George has ever done a full gig in the UK as a solo artist. And I was there. I was lucky enough to be there. There's a video on the channel, me talking about going to see that gig. I don't know if it was filmed. I've never seen any professionally filmed footage from that So I don't think it was recorded. I don't think it was filmed. It was a one-off gig that he was doing as a benefit for the Natural Law Party, who were a very extreme left-wing party. Not really left-wing, but they kind of, their main policy was that they believed in transcendental meditation. The Natural Law Party, they were called, and George thought it would be really quirky to support them in the general election that was coming up a few weeks after this gig that he did at the Albert Hall. So I don't know if professionally filmed or recorded footage exists for that show, but there are some fans videos on YouTube. Thoughts about the new Rogering of Dark Side? I haven't heard it. I've just have I? What has he done? Are you talking about is this the Dark Side of the Moon re-release that came out recently? Was it the 50th anniversary box set? I didn't buy the main album. I bought the live album package of that. But I don't know about what Roger Waters has done apart from that. If you want to expand on that, then to be honest, there's no point you expanding because I don't know. That's all I've heard is the live at, where was it? Was it Hammersmith? I can't remember where it was. Or Earl's Court, maybe Earl's Court, live at Earl's Court, that was part of that. That's what I bought. Do you think George Martin would like to remix, like the remixes or not? Yeah, of course he would. Yeah, I think so. I mean, George Martin was into technology, and I think that he would embrace this technology. Right, I'm going to do a couple more questions, and then I'm going to bugger off because we've been here nearly 2.5 hours, and it is almost 2 a.m. Here. Not that I've got to get out for work, and I am really enjoying it, but I'm kind of to be honest, I need a wee. So we'll do a few more, and then I'm going to bugger off. Peaky says, "Hi, just heard box sets of John Lennon. Is it possible for making one box set about the Lost Weekend? Wouldn't that be brilliant? There's so much material there. I guess some of it has already come out on some of the box sets already, but yeah, Lost Weekend box set. The trouble is that Lost Weekend, the actual Lost Weekend is, it was a radio show, wasn't it? And things have been bootlegged from that, so it wouldn't come from an official source, I guess, unless they just I guess they've got the material. They could just source the material that was used. But yeah, that would be great. Bob's Old Record says he'd like to see Shea Stadium and Tokyo concert on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. Yeah, I mean everything. PK, Mind Games and Walls and Bridges all in one box set. Well, I mean, that would be fantastic, but probably too much to ask because, with the amount, if they were to do, if they're doing these Ultimate Mixes box sets in the same way as they did Mind Games, sorry, not Mind Games, Imagine and Plastic Ono Band, that, they're giving you like 6 CDs or 5 CDs of extra material. I think that would be too much to do two albums at once. You'd be talking about maybe a 12 CD box set, which would probably be too much. It's better to make sure that we get all, I wouldn't want them to skimp on it just because they were putting 2 together, because I just think the Ultimate Mixes have been the best box sets ever. They've been brilliant. brilliant. So you know, hopefully we'll get them, but I think they'll probably do them separately. Joseph says, I thought Joseph had gone. Joseph said Star Club won't fly because of Ringo. Good point. Yeah, because obviously, well, why? Ringo's on. Actually, Ringo is on the Star Club, isn't he? He's already in the band. It's December 1962, so Ringo's in the band. So he shouldn't really have any reason to stop it. He said maybe get a combined box of Lost Weekend, My Games, and Walls and Bridges. That is super ambitious. That is super ambitious. Matt says, I thought Danny's take on his dad's songs for George Festival great. Sounded so much like George. Yes, he does. James said, if you were to have added another Wilbury to replace Roy, who would you have picked? My vote goes to Dave Edmunds. I think he would have been great. He would have been good, actually. Well, that's tough, isn't it? That's a tough question. Out of all the pop stars in the whole world, who could we have to replace Roy Orbison in the Wilburys? I'll tell you who would be fantastic. Keith Richards. Put him in there. Put Keith Richards in there. That'd be fantastic. Julia says, I totally enjoyed Ringo's Rewind Forward. Ringo's music is fun. Buddy says, hey, I haven't completely missed this historic moment. You almost have. You've just had your name shouted out, but we are going to draw this to close in a few minutes. I'm just going through. Where are we? Christian D says there's nothing wrong with remixes. I agree. Bob's old record said, I didn't like Giles Martin remixes until I heard Revolver. He did an incredible job with it. Well, he did, and obviously Revolver was the first one where they used the MAL technology, and it was considerably it was a considerable upgrade on what had gone before. But I thought he did a good job on Let It Be as well, and most of the White Album, apart from one or two songs that were great. But I thought Sgt. Pepper and Abbey Road could have been better. Abbey Road has been my least favorite of all the remixes. In fact, my go-to is the 2009 remaster. I'm still listening to that. Is Keith Richards will be material? No, absolutely not. But it would be fun. I would, I don't know. I suppose if you're replacing, Roy Orbison, then you need someone with a big voice, and Keith Richards isn't that. Bella says, I read that John Lennon had 300 unreleased recordings. If that is true, isn't it high time that this stuff came out? Thoughts? Well, yeah, I mean, we've had a load of unreleased recordings just on those first two Ultimate Mixes box sets. But I don't know whether you mean that by unreleased recordings or you mean songs, unreleased songs that haven't been on any albums or anything. I don't know. You would have to, you'd have to sift through his archives. I don't know. Pete Cozy says 50 years ago I bought albums for about £1.50 a go. Yeah, so glad I get the chance to buy updated versions now. Technology wise, you are right. People have the choice whether or not to buy. Or whether to buy or not. Yes, they do. Oh, 300 hours. Okay. We don't know. I don't know how many songs there are. Ivor says the Revolver mix is my favourite so far. Looking forward to Rubber Soul. Great channel. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ivor. I'm glad you are part of it, and thanks for joining for this live stream. James says, will Red and Blue reissues have a third Green album? I think they're going to have a third disc. Whether it's going to be called the Green Album, I do not know. I do not know. Bella says it'd be nice to see some unreleased George Harrison stuff come out as well. Yes, it would. It would. Buddy says, I found out about a 2017 book called Once There Was a Way. It was an alternate history in which the Beatles didn't break up. I ordered it. Okay. I've got this book called Paperback Writer. It came out in the 70s, which it's a Beatles novel. And it sounds like a similar sort of thing. Where the Beatles get back together in 1977 or 78, and they play Wembley Stadium supporting the Sex Pistols. It's a very funny book. It's a very funny book. Right. Dennis Wood says, Tone, wonderful broadcast. Thank you very much. What original Beatles related album would you like to own? What reissues do you see in 2024? Well, I think we'll see Rubber Soul in 2024 for sure. Original Beatles related album. What one would I like to own? I guess everyone wants a Butcher's Sleeve, don't they? Everyone wants a Butcher's Sleeve. I think so. Right. Okay. Russell Smith is saying hello from SEA. Hi, Russell. Thanks for joining. But we are about to close down, I think. Farrell says piles of poop, pipes of peace, pipes of pish, pipes of piss. I don't know. Sir Oswald Fortitude. I would like to see a re-release of Back to the Egg. Given the full works, we all would. Rennie Rodriguez says, I think he's working on Beatles footage of them recording the White Album. I think this is Peter Jackson you're talking about. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Robert Logan says, Beatley Tone, have you heard Ringo's new song, Rewind Forward? It has a positive message. Yes, it does have a positive message, but musically it's a little bit samey. It's Ringo doing Ringo again. But yeah. Where are we? Sir Oswald Fortune. My favourite Beatles documentary was Complete Beatles, narrated by Malcolm McDowell. The first ever Beatles video, I think, in the early 80s. Have you seen it? Yes, I used to have a copy of it, but I probably still have somewhere, but I don't have anything to play it on. And I'm guessing it would look really, really dated now. Yeah, I did buy it when it came out. Oh, Tom's here. Tom, have you finished work? We all know you Brits love We All Stand Together. What makes you think that? Boom, 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 aye, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, we love it. We love it. We love it. Nice to see you, Tom. Tom is from the Two Legs Paul McCartney podcast. Andy was on earlier. If you don't subscribe to Two Legs, please go over there and subscribe. It is the best podcast on YouTube, Beatles related anyway. I love it. They drop a show every week and they have some great guests on there. And so just get over there and subscribe to that channel. That's Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. Okay, I am going to wrap this up very soon. Right, let's see where we are. Buddy says he loves silly love songs. I he loathed silly love songs. I love silly love songs. How can you loathe it? It's fantastic. Oh, now you've come to appreciate it more. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's got the best bass line. It's got everything. It's got everything that a good pop song should have. It's got a horn section. It's got amazing 3-part harmonies. It's got fantastic bass playing. It's got a massive hook. Fantastic song. Love it. Where are we? Lon says, hi Tone, Lon here. I noticed in the background you have the book, The Beatles Illustrated Record. That was the first of many books that I've purchased. What is opinion of Mark Lewisohn's Tuning? I think Tuning is a good book. It's too much detail for me for that period. It's but I mean, amazing bit research, but it's not something that I want to read again. And you know, but an illustrated record I've read thousands of times. Well, not thousands, but hundreds of times. It was one of the very first books that I read. But my original copy, see this one here. This one here is the reprint from 1981 or something like that. I had the original one with the white cover with them in the Sergeant Pepper suits. Was my original one, and that was the I read that over and over again. But in the end, I took all the pictures out of it and stuck them on my bedroom wall, and then I never had it again. And I bought this copy here about three or 4 months ago because I was thinking about it, and I thought, oh, I wish I had it. And it's such a great book, even though I don't agree with hardly any of the reviews of any of the music on it. It's a great book to have, and I paid, well, the cover price I think for this is £4.75. That's what it cost in 1981. I paid 12 quid for it, I think, on eBay. That was it. Okay, listen, guys, it's getting late here now. I'm sorry if I haven't got to your comments, but I'll do another one of these very soon. I'm going to do one. It's going to be earlier in the day to try and get some more people from the UK. Be a better time for them because obviously it's the middle of the night now. It's now 11 minutes past 2 in the morning. I thank you all, everyone, for being on here, for coming on and contributing to this live chat. Thanks very much for that. Please keep watching the channel. Please give this a thumbs up. That would be great. Honestly, really, thank you very much for being on here and being part of my channel. I will see you all very soon, and thank you once again. It's been really fun doing this. I've got the first one out of the way. I know how the tech works now, and so it should. I won't be worried about doing another one. So thanks very much, everyone. It's time to turn the light off as no one's at home anymore. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.